You. So if any of y'all need anything, just type it in the private chat over there. Hello. 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 What's going on, fellas?
That's funny.
Yo.
Hey, this is the MANIA podcast. We are on episode 197.
Dang.
Up there, inching closer.
Safe to say we are all recording from the Cesaro section. Would that be a fair assessment?
Absolutely. I think so.
Yeah.
I believe we are. Absolutely. That's probably the one match of Mania that we probably all had the exact same pick and probably reaction to.
Yeah, if you bet money on that match, you would have won hands down because everybody would pick Cesaro.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm glad
it's just not even a question.
It was a great match too, man. Seth made him look great. Cesaro looked great, man. It was. I'm glad he went over. I'm really glad he went over.
Yeah, the right guy won, man. So today is a dark day if you're a wrestling fan. It really is. Yeah.
Literally
2 years in a row. We know that the usually Wednesday or Thursday after WrestleMania. Watch out. So first of all, let's start with the good. We are back with another episode of MANIA. We are happy to see you. My name is Mega Ram. In the center, you see the Neo X.
And there,
Neo Shivani. And on the right, we have Brock Knowledge. Thank you guys for joining. If you are seeing us live on Twitch, thank you. Or if you're hearing this later on, it's because of the Geekscape Network and the Steel Cage Network. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. And we're here to give you a wrap-up of the week in wrestling. And mainly, there's really like two things to talk about right now. First, I think, is Wrestlemania Weekend. Now, I was there.
Yeah, sure.
I visited the COVID Bowl of America, Tampa. And I've come back in one piece. And I gotta say, man, it felt really good to be in front of people, like to see a show. Like, I mean, you guys saw the televised part, you know, where all the wrestlers came out in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And everybody's like super hyped and all that. Like, that energy was infectious. Like, the entire stadium was feeling that, was getting up out of the seat, jumping around. Like, people were like hyped. And then Vince came out, gave some words. And I remember talking about it with a friend of mine. They were like, who do you think is going to be the first person to speak on a show with people first? And I think everybody agreed that it had to be Vince. Like, as provided he was alive, it had to be Vince. So it was good to hear from Vince kicking off the show. And then they immediately turned everybody around and went back inside. And then the PA said, everyone, please go find safety because a thunder and lightning storm is coming.
I hope you brought your own safety because thunder and lightning is coming.
Yeah, they're like, all right, guys. So we all had to walk back into the like just waiting area where you walk up and walk in.
Yeah,
and that's covered.
But there was probably no social distancing in that area.
There's no way to social distance. There's 25,000 people at that point, all heading towards like common areas. You know, like where the bathrooms are, where the, you know, the
and you're by the bathrooms. Damn.
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't use the bathroom there. That's just why I'm glad it was a short show. 3 hours. I didn't have to use the bathroom. I didn't have to eat there. I ate right before I came. And from what I heard with events like this, that's where, if anything, that's where a lot of like stuff has spread. It's been like things that everybody touches, like the bathrooms and, you know, whatever. So I try my best not to. They had porta potties and they had sinks that didn't even work. There was like a pump, like a foot pump sink, and they didn't even work.
Yeah, you're better off with like baby wipes and a what is that, a catheter.
Yeah, so just hold it if you got to go to those places for the bathroom.
Dehydrate your body before going to Mania.
Yeah, that's the one time to not hydrate. So yeah, this was at that moment. I'm gonna just walk you briefly through my experience, and then we can get into what y'all saw. Cool. So while they're telling us to wait, I walked and into the common area. I'm talking to my friend Rob. Shout out to Rob Aurelius who got me the ticket. We were in like a wheelchair section. So I don't know if you've ever seen those sections where there's a wheelchair space and then there's a seat next to that. So that's kind of where we were. And it was a cool spot. It was very well distanced, but you couldn't see the actual ring. When you look down, they had these 4 pillars, these WrestleMania pillars, and one was directly blocking the ring. So I was like, this ain't going to work. I was like, I don't know how, but I'm getting down there and I'm putting downwards. And I'm like, we'll figure it out. Wouldn't you know, the moment I walk back out into the common area and we're just standing there, you're seeing everybody because everybody's there. And I bump into a gentleman I knew. This gentleman's name is Kaz. Shout out to Kazim from the Wrestle Rap alumni. And he was like, yo, come with us. And I'm like, okay. So Neo is lost. He's fallen into the abyss.
Yeah.
The forbidden door is closed for Neo.
It is.
So he's like, yo, come with us. I start walking with them. And he's like, yeah, to the person in the front of the line. And he turns around and it's Wale.
Hey.
And he's like, yo, what's up, man? And I was like, all right, let's just go. So we're just walking with them. And we walk past the area where they do the WrestleMania pre-show. I see Rosenberg and a few of the guys, JBL maybe up there. And they're like just messing with Rosenberg, trying to get him to look their way. Like, hey, Rosenberg sucks. What's up? You know, and then we walk around there. And again, I'm just following because they told me to follow. I'm walking around. Then they go down one level. And then they go down another level. And then they go down another level. And then we're on the floor. And I was like, oh, word.
Heyo.
I just walked with them. And we just keep on walking. We're on the hard cam side. So directly in front of the hard camera, not TV side. So he goes up to the 4th row, 3rd row, 2nd row, and then just sits down. And then we're like, all right. So we sit in the row behind them.
We here.
And we're there. We're here. We just watched the show from there. I was like, yo, this is nuts. And enjoyed the show, man. And right from there, that was when Drew was coming out. And so we got to see, you know, the entire show, like, just like That's the dope part about that side. You're not on TV, but they're playing for you because you're the hard
performing for you.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, so we were in the shout out to Dragon Master. Yes, we were in the friends and family section. So in between every match, what they do is they rotate out family members. Like, so you always see a family member in the front row. Yeah. They rotate them out. So for that match, some of Drew's family came out. Some of Bobby's kids and stuff were there, and then they moved them out. Linda came over there for the Shane match with Shane's kids. Like Kofi's kids came out. Like, so it was pretty cool to see everybody. Titus's kids were sitting with us. And so yeah, we had a really good time, man. And it was dope. So that part, but for y'all, I'm just curious, like, did they pipe in crowd noise, you think? Or was it just
100%? 100%.
Oh yeah, especially that was very evident on the clips you saw when they were booing Sulk Sogan. They were piping in cheers over the boos.
Yo, they let Hogan have it, yo.
And shouts out to Tampa for booing that bastard.
Yo, I was really surprised. Tampa is his hometown. Yeah. And they cheered Titus and booed the heck out of Hogan. And I was
both nights
okay. He got booed. I was like, oh, that wasn't a mistake. Like, I'm not just hearing things. No, like the moment he talked, he got booed over.
Wrestlemania ain't running wild.
That was great to see.
It was such a bad move to have him host. I don't care if it is his hometown. He has no right. I mean, not even right. He just doesn't. It's just not a good look anymore, fam. Like, it's just not. It's never going to work.
Why do they keep forcing him down? No.
Sorry, what'd you say, Rock?
I said, do we want hosts for WrestleMania? Because I don't.
I don't need it.
When they're entertaining, like the New Day, like when the New Day,
like,
yeah,
the New Day was cool, but how did they not have a match on that card? Or did they?
The year that the New Day were hosting?
Yeah. Did they not have a match, and why?
They didn't have a match, and that was weird.
Somebody hurt?
No, that was when Jeff and Matt Hardy did the return.
Came back, yeah.
Yeah. However, like if there's hosts that do stuff like backstage, that's cool, right?
Yeah,
or if they come out and they greet the crowd, they want to, MC or whatever, cool. But like, yeah, make it be like a wrestler and an actual like entertainer personality person that's going to bring a legit viewing from the world outside of professional wrestling to put eyes onto the product. Or are you going to have, Smogan to come over here, Terry Bobeba to come and just try to like, he's trying to, finesse his way back into the crowd and nobody's having it, man. Like we're a smarter crowd. We're more, I don't know what you call it, like woke. I mean, we just don't want it anymore.
And I think it's too late. I think it's too late for him. I think even if he were to really apologize at this point, it's too late. This should have happened.
It's too late. This should have happened a long time ago. And even if it does, like no one wants to hear it. Like, I appreciate them, I guess, being like, all right, if one of us had done something crazy, we would want maybe another chance. But like, yo, it's proven that this is a failure. Like, they don't have to keep forcing it. Like, people are not feeling him.
Yeah, nobody see that guy.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. I'll be like, yo, we tried, Hulk. They don't like you. So it's over.
Let's touch on his PR tour. Was it a significant PR tour? Like, everybody in the back, right? There's been reports or dirt sheets saying like people met with him, but they never felt his apology sincere, right?
Yep.
So it's like now this conception of broke Brogan is just it's never going to stick.
We got to keep changing his name for the rest of the show.
We really do.
Bogan, Sulk Sogan. I like it. Dogan. So yeah, man, I was like, I totally agree with you. You got to keep it moving. He is not.
You know what's funny, bro, is even Seth Rollins said like, yeah, my professional wrestling Mount Rushmore has to have Hulk Hogan because of what he did for professional wrestling, but that's it.
Dopium had the best one. Nope, Nogan.
Nope, Nogan.
That's weird.
That might be the name of the episode.
Nope, Nogan.
Nope, Nogan.
But even Seth Rollins said like, like he did this for wrestling, but he's not a good human being.
Yeah, he was very, very clear. Like, yeah. And that's what I know. Shout out to Marcos. He's in the chat. He always says, like, we can't deny what Hogan has done for the business. And that may be true.
And that's kind of where Seth's justification was.
Yeah,
right?
You can't talk about pro wrestling without his contributions.
Yeah.
You can try, but you would be omitting things. You know what I mean? So for that, it's fine. But today in 2021, we don't need to see him. Like, we just don't.
We're supposed to learn from the past, and we can appreciate the past for what it was. But let's not continue to repeat the mistakes in the past, right?
Right.
Yep. Right on. Okay, and that is the last time we'll ever mention Nope Nogan.
Nope Nogan.
Moving forward. Let's talk. We're not going to go through the whole card, but
no.
For you guys, in your guys' opinion, Saturday night, best match. What did you enjoy Saturday?
Oh, man.
Saturday we had Bad Bunny and Priest. We had Banks and Belair. We had Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's cliche, but I felt like this is the best match that I've seen Sasha Banks in. This is Sasha at her very best, and the way she sold and put Bianca over and let Bianca literally throw her around and did everything, took everything. And just the moment, man, the moment in the ring when they're both before the match is going to start, and you can tell that Bianca's crying, just that moment, because this wouldn't have happened 15, 20 years ago. You wouldn't have had two African-American women headlining the biggest show in professional wrestling. So they both knew the magnitude of what they were a part of, and they delivered.
Showcase of the Immortals.
You were there, Rand. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Was the hair whip in the arena as loud as it was on TV?
Yo, it might have been louder.
Man,
it was like
that was
crack. Like everybody heard that. It was like, yo.
I love the story behind the hair whip. Do you guys know about it?
No, what's the story?
No.
So the story was she would use that move as a heel in NXT, right?
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what would happen is when she made the jump to the main roster, she's been working babyface. So she's never had to use it. And she said to herself, I will only use this move if someone blatantly or intently wants to use my hair against me in any way, shape, or form. So, what is it? What's the term? You mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Yeah.
Shabat. Watch that. Bam. Like she took that all along her torso, right? She didn't want to use it.
Yeah. She had a nice little
so there's a story behind it. Like when people pull her hair or use it to choke her, then she's like, all right, now it's a weapon. So then I'm going to use it.
It's fair game now.
I didn't realize that.
As a baby face would. And I appreciate that little storytelling. It really goes a long, long way. I really like that type of stuff.
That match I've gone back and watched it twice, and so good, man. Like, it was so good. Like that.
I want to watch it on the TV just to really feel it.
That should definitely be, if you're doing like a career retrospective on Sasha, that's one of her best matches, even though she lost. Just the way that she put over the next generation of female superstars. That's essentially what Bianca is, because I mean Sasha's more established, Bianca's coming up, and she made her look great, and I was ecstatic, man. I was watching it, and when Bianca won, my sister was like, "You're not going for Sasha?" And I was like, "Nah, man,
not this time.
Not this time.
I'm Bianca all day."
Do you think I had some people say like they felt like Bianca's emotion maybe kind of gave it away? The fact that she came out already emotional, crying about it. Like, do you think that made it kind of clear that she was going to win? Or I didn't think so. I feel like there's legit emotion for even being there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's the moment that they pioneered. It's as big a moment as when Trish and Lita had the main event on Raw. Like, that had never been done before, and they did it the first time, and it was emotional for them. And then this is WrestleMania. Like, you're headlining your company's biggest show, first show in over a year with live people. This is huge.
Yeah.
Yo, I'll tell you what, my guy. If anybody is saying if anybody's trying to like make something out of nothing because of that situation, you're probably only watching wrestling just to kind of pick at it.
Yeah.
And you can keep that negativity to yourself, man, because that part was special. I think if you're a pure wrestling fan and you saw what was happening, you knew the scope of behind it, like Rock said, you know the magnitude of this match, that automatically got me invested immediately because I was talking out my butt about how much this buildup was shit, and I hated the buildup.
Yeah.
But when we actually got there, it just kind of all magically vanished because I have to remember. I had to suspend my disbelief a little bit and remember these women are going to put it all on the line tonight. And this is the what is it? The amalgamation of their road and those shitty go-home shows. Like, this is what it's all worth. This is what it's worth.
Absolutely. Shout out to Michael Cole for actually mentioning it on the broadcast, like how important it was. He said, this is the first time ever 2 black women are main eventing WrestleMania. And like, for the longest time, I felt like they were just going to let it happen and not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it was dope to see the acknowledgement on that.
Did you guys see the clips of after the match when Sasha's on the ground, like crawling towards the barricade, and she's trying to sell that she's like hurt, but she's actually like, she's smiling, looking at Bianca, like not just,
like just happy about it.
Yeah. That to me, that was, say what you will about it not being great and not being for the business at that point, but that right there shows you how important that match was to them too. Because she broke character, and was smiling watching the woman who just beat her for her title.
Meanwhile, and let's talk about it. Yeah, Sasha Banks is 0-6 at WrestleMania. But in that moment, do you think she cared?
Oh, she's the new Triple H. That's fine.
She don't care. Like, this is you get to put over the next thing that is like maybe gonna take over women's wrestling for the next 10 years. Like, there's no
crazy.
She's 0-6 at Mania. Like, she's never won a match.
That's like Triple H, man. Like, he never got a lot of Mania wins, but he held the title throughout the shows, right?
It's like the reverse streak.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I remember for the longest, like, she hasn't. I knew she didn't win a lot, as champion. She's lost probably every big match as champion. But like, I didn't realize she was 0-6 at Mania, and like. There's the story of them losing the tag belts or whatever at Mania, or not winning the tag titles and supposedly crying about it, her and Bayley. Yeah. But this time you can see legit emotion and like her being happy for what Bianca did. And you could also look at New Day. New Day took an L at Mania. But what did they do? They put over new black talent. You know what I'm saying? Big E took an L. What did he do? He put over black talent and put in Apollo's biggest match ever. You know what I mean? So I'm sure none of them feel bad at all. Like, oh, I didn't win at Mania. Like, only we keep track of that stuff.
Bigger than wrestling, man. Bigger than wrestling.
Absolutely. So I want to see. Oh yeah, I posted that. I was like, yo, people were crying. Like, real talk. Like, I looked around, everybody was crying because we were like right there where like her dad was and her family, and she stood up on the apron. And like, there was real emotion there. And I'm like, this is absolutely bigger than wrestling. And I even had a chance to chat with her. And she said the same thing. She's just like, yeah, like, I just want little girls to see this and be like, yo, I can do this, And so that was dope. Yeah. So I want to bring up something Drizzen mentioned and put into our into the Discord, that it's a meme that says, how's this for juxtaposition? WrestleMania 35, Kofi Mania, co-hosted by Nope Nogan. WrestleMania 37, Black Champions at the beginning and at the end of the show, hosted by Broke Brogan. It's almost like they planned it this way. So again, and I think I made allusion to this at some point, probably during WrestleMania 35, even when they do something really dope for people of color, WWE still like, you gotta take Hogan.
You gotta take Hogan.
Right, you gotta take Hogan for this. It's always a trade-off, always. So I'm sure that's not a coincidence. Not at all.
No.
So I thought that was interesting. Any other highlights of night one? We got to talk about Bad Bunny.
MVP of the night was Bad Bunny. MVP.
Yo, from his entrance on, I was like, oh, they are not playing.
Like, bro, he did a bunny destroyer. Like, yo, he did a Canadian destroyer.
Yo. So some cool things about that I mentioned in the chat. I had
Puerto
a chance
Rican destroyer at Derek's house.
Now it's a Puerto Rican destroyer. I had a chance to talk to Drew Gulak, who said that he was a part of the crew that was training Bad Bunny. And he said, man, he caught on to it super quick. He was super excited and he worked his butt off. And he's like, once we got everything done, we decided to throw in the Canadian destroyer just to pop ourselves. We were like, you know what?
Yeah, an indie move. An indie
yeah,
move.
like this is going to make people crap their pants like to see him pull this off.
Bro, I was not expecting that when I was watching. I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, it's like so ridiculous.
And shouts out to Morrison for taking that and selling that, and that was just. I mean, Bad Bunny. I think he had the best celebrity appearance in WrestleMania history.
Oh yeah,
he did everything and more. And shit, man, it was dope, bro. I'm not mad at him being involved.
So I got a text, and I hate to turn it into a negative, like turning praise for somebody into a negative, but I got a text from someone, I won't say who. They were like, "Yo, why does Bad Bunny seem to be getting this better than say Dominic Mysterio?" And I was like, "Ooh, that's harsh, but fair."
You know why?
Why?
Because Dominic Mysterio is not selling out merch from the WWE shop like Bad Bunny does. It's all about the money, bro.
It's a business. It really is.
Like Bad Bunny, I'm looking right now because I was going to buy my mom the Splash shirt, but they're sold out in her size because she likes Bad Bunny. All of this shit is sold out, bro. It's legit sold out.
I had a chat with a merch guy there, and he was saying we only did one Bad Bunny shirt, and he's like, I might wind up regretting that. He's like, because I thought that Bad Bunny's fans wouldn't make it to WrestleMania. He just thought that these people, like, they're not wrestling fans, so they won't come. People. But it's like, what else is there to do? Like, you can go see a Bad Bunny concert, sorta, for a $35 ticket. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they came out. They did a white shirt. I didn't really like it. They did a white shirt with Priest and Bad Bunny.
That was kind of
Yeah, it was but yeah, he was like, we should have did another shirt. Like, Bad Bunny's merch outsells everybody. So, but yeah, it was dope to see, man. He killed it. And so here's the other side of that. And I want to ask y'all, I mean, of course, this to me, as shout out to Marcos who said it, this does prove that Miz is the money. Like, we knew he was going to make Bad Bunny look good. We had a Miz Appreciation Day a few weeks ago.
Yeah. He's
a GOAT. And this just further proves it. You know what I mean? I remember thinking back to, remember WrestleMania, WrestleMania 1, was it? When they had Mr. T and Brogan?
Yep.
And how there's stories of that Piper and Orndorff didn't want to sell for Mr. T. Yep. Right? They were like, we don't want him to make us look bad because he's not from our world. So it just shows where the business has gone since then, and how Miz will show up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. What, 3 weeks ago I was champion, 2 weeks ago now I'm getting beat up by a singer. Like, it's all good. I'll do whatever you need. So shout out to Miz for sure.
Yeah, no, the Miz did his thing, man. It was a good match. I think the only negative that I take from the match is not from the match itself, it's what happens to Damian Priest.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
That's what scares me.
Where do you guys see Damian Priest going without Bad Bunny? Neo, any thoughts?
Yeah, obviously it's WWE, so it's just going to be dependent on how they book them, unfortunately. And what's their track record with big, good-looking guys who can work and move and do everything? Yeah,
not well. Not well. It's like, but he's tall and he can work and he's big. And he's very
handsome.
He's got a very unique look. Like, so he could be too different for his own good. I hate to say, I'd even rather him go back to NXT. Like, just pop up on NXT next week. I'm like, I wouldn't even be mad.
It's unfortunate.
That's been on NXT that left to the main roster just to go back to NXT. It's safer there.
It's safer there. So I had a chat with a WWE person, and they told me the same thing, that they were worried about Priest because they feel like they moved him up quickly to do the Bad Bunny thing. The crowd hasn't been established with him. They don't know his finishing move. They don't know really anything about him because the Raw crowd and NXT crowd very different.
Way different.
And he's like, I really worry about him. And that person said that they didn't think that he got as big of a reaction during the match as Bad Bunny. And it's like, well, duh, it's Bad Bunny. So
in that aspect, but I mean, it's legitimate.
Yeah, so that could be a cause for worry. I hope that they give him another chance. They do something cool with him. But yeah, he does have to establish himself with this audience. Like, we got to see his moves. We got to hear him talking. And like, he's got to build his relationship outside of the guy who hangs out with Bad Bunny.
He was North American champ in NXT once. Is that right? Yes.
Okay. He was North American champ. And then he came up like right after that. Like, he lost it and then was gone. And a good point is that Bad Bunny did work the majority of that match. Like,
he took a lot of that offense. He took a lot of that.
I remember, like, I think it was somebody near me was like, "Yo, he tired. And I was like, I don't know. Like, he's still going.
He's gas, bro.
Like, he did a lot. So shout out to
selling. He was selling like a pro. I legit was kind of afraid for him because you have to remember, like, he's not a pro wrestler. You know, right. He's like what? He's like $180.
I was surprised to see him sell as much as he did. He's
soaking wet. Like, he had to put on that bulletproof vest, right, to take some extra shots. It was one of those minimalist D'Lo Brown vests.
Right. I was impressed with that for sure. So this is by far the best celebrity performance in a WWE ring.
Yeah. The other person that was on the show, whatever his name was, the wannabe YouTube boxer, he was an afterthought. Yeah, he took a stunner. I'm like, good, whatever. Let's never bring him back, please.
Okay, so let me talk about that. I want to move. We talked about a positive. I'm gonna say that match was my most disappointing. Now, granted, I feel like it was a little rushed to put together, but I just knew Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, they've been friends for years. They have had to talk about making WrestleMania moments together.
They
what
I'm saying? Forever, literally.
In the indies, in anywhere, talking about how they're going to make a WrestleMania moment one day. And this, to me, didn't hold a candle to any of their previous matches. And maybe it's, the stakes are different. Maybe, I don't know. There didn't seem to be a lot of fire. I don't even think they went outside the ring. Like, it seemed like a very plain match.
Sammy did that brainbuster on the apron.
Oh yeah, okay. So there was that. I'm gonna watch it again, but like, to me, I really thought that night 2, I thought that was going to be a highlight, and it was kind of an afterthought.
I kind of felt like night 2 was an afterthought.
Yeah, the entire night 2 was. Night 2 was pretty much forced. It was not great.
It was all for the main event, though. Like, the main event is what actually did night 2 any whim of justice.
And I think that's what sold the tickets. Great main event.
Match, man.
Yeah,
I think there were more people in the building for night 2, and that's because of the star power at the top of that lineup. Seeing Roman, seeing Edge. I saw people crying for Edge. The same thing, like, just seeing him in person, not thinking they would ever see him come to a ring. So yeah, a lot of people paid to come to that one. There was like no space around me for that match or for that show for second night.
Yeah.
First thing we got on night 2 was the Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton thing with both of y'all doing the same exact head shake.
We're both nodding our heads no.
I mean,
or shaking our heads no. Sorry.
My opinion on the Fiend has never been quiet. So that was horseshit.
Right. You've never been high on the Fiend, so this is fair. But even if you're not, though, to me, you got to think, you just rebuilt the Fiend, you repackaged him, you brought him back to life, you put a new suit on him. You brought him back again, and for what?
And he was wearing a babushka.
What's a babushka?
Like, he was like in the intro. He was wearing this babushka, and then it got like lit on fire. Like it's one of those things that old ladies would wear.
Hi, boys.
Hey, what up?
Yo, what's up, youngin?
Look at that loaf.
My God, looks just like Monica. Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God. What up, mods?
Hi, Sam.
Yo, miss you. Wow, looks just like mom's.
Yeah, crazy.
So you weren't expecting much from this Rock, to be fair. I just thought you repackage the Fiend, you rebuild him, you burn him, you bring him back, like just to lose again. What are y'all doing with this guy? What are y'all?
They use WrestleMania to further along another storyline. You know how I feel about that.
That should not happen. You're right. That's a no-no. Like these storylines should end. You can't build new things at Mania.
I thought the Fiend was done when he got burned in the ring by Randy Orton, and then he survived that, and then he came back looking like the House of Horrors. And I don't know, man. It was just I don't know. I don't know what their thought process was, but they thought it was a good idea. I did read that the finish of that match was changed last minute, so I'm curious to know what the original finish was.
Yeah, I guess the original was Fiend goes over, I don't know. I heard so many rumors about stuff they might do with Bray, like Bo Dallas getting involved, like all types of other things.
Not anymore.
He's
down, homie.
And we'll get to that, but Bo leave.
He still got to live though.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
Right.
Thank the Fiend that they healed him because his look for that minute was terrible. Yeah, it was the bacon mask he was wearing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even mind if he was still wrestling in that attire, right? Because I would have imagined, I thought personally that the Fiend needed to win over his soul. I didn't think I still don't know what the story is. That's why I'm just trying to book this myself. I thought he needed to win back and maybe win back his place to then be resurrected. But no, he was resurrected by this jabroni in a box. And like that was it. Like that's all you needed to do. Bro, like
there you go, right there. That's the title, guys.
I didn't understand I couldn't get the story. Like Rand said, like you burnt him, you beat him, they beat each other. And I was like, okay, there's got to be something epic, right? Nah. He just pops up, and then he's like fresh skinned, right? And
like what? Yeah, like what happened? Like,
and then Alexa Bliss transforms.
So now she's the story,
right?
Alexa's the story. Is that now she's so she technically turned on Bray, and now she realized she doesn't need the darkness.
So now she was sweating the darkness that Randy Orton was throwing up earlier. And I don't understand what that is. Like, is it that goop from Roger Rabbit? The dip? Is it the dip?
Is it?
Yeah.
It's Acme brand tar. I don't know. It's weird. So one very pleasant surprise, at least the ending, was Sheamus versus Riddle. This match surprised me. I knew it would be a physical match, but like I didn't expect Sheamus to go over. Like I didn't think there was any reason to, but anything that gives me a surprise. What you heard?
So that one, Matt Riddle was never supposed to have the title to begin with. He was given the strap due to the whole situation with Keith Lee when he was taken out of that fatal four-way they had, I think, against Bobby or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there was some plans I was reading for him to actually go over at Mania, but last minute they decided to put the strap on Sheamus.
Yeah, that's reassuring. Let's book WrestleMania on the day of. Fuck me, man.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise you, though. This is.
No, they have no plans. They don't know what they're doing.
Where they're writing Raw during Raw still, so. How do you even handle that kind of a work environment where you're in the middle of a show, scrap that whole idea, we're gonna do this?
That's crazy, man.
Like,
I don't know how you can function in that environment.
I'm pretty sure the writing staff, they probably still even have beepers. Like, that's probably how bad it is. Like, they're just on call. It doesn't matter.
Because, I wouldn't be surprised.
Beeper batteries never die, but your phone could die.
Were there any? Question was: were there any Keith Lee sightings at the arena, at the Hall of Fame? Anything I'm so
pre Hall of Fame. They got dressed up for Hall of Fame. Him and me.
I'm so curious to know what's going on with him, and I hope it's not anything serious because they've been so hush about it. It's just odd.
They were around, so I guess they were in Tampa. They were there because they got dressed up. Mia. There's a picture of both of them dressed up.
She cleans up nice. She cleans up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even want to speculate at this point. Like it's kind of sad. Like I'm just like, what is happening?
You brought up a good point during your Twitch earlier today about he's probably not getting the shine because he's probably hasn't agreed on signing off his name or his rights or his legal title.
Yeah, that was something Teak brought up in the chat. Shout out to Teak. And I feel like there could be something to that, man. Like a lot of people that don't do that, and you don't have to, because I read that CM Punk didn't do that. Like you don't have to give them rights to your name, but when you don't, it's going to be a struggle to be on the ice cream bars or the, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes real. Like they're like, oh, you want us to make you famous, but we don't get a piece of your name. So I don't think they would keep him out of the ring for that. But I don't know. I think it's a little more serious than that.
I think it's got to be an injury or something health related. And like I said, I hope it's nothing serious. You know, maybe he's just got some nagging injuries, and I don't know. Hope we'll find out soon because they have
on the bright side, Keith Lee has 13 products on the WWE website of the shopping.
Oh, that's cool.
13.
I didn't know he had so much merch.
13.
Yeah, wow. 13 products total. He's got 3 t-shirts, 2 sweatshirts, plates, posters. He's got a mug, a plushie, a gym bag, and a lanyard.
Okay.
I mean, so he's still got stuff there. So
so they still have faith in him, which is good.
Right. Mind you, a lot of it's discounted, but it's there
right now. It is.
Well, I feel like, man, once Vince McMahon kind of sours on you, man,
it's a wrap.
But what did he do?
What did he do? He dove through the ropes. He didn't do big boots and Beals and all the stuff that they want Big Show in them to do.
Who's that?
I think once, I don't know. Like I hope I'm wrong, but it could be very simple. It could be just the fact that Vince doesn't feel like he's a big man enough. They did have the Keith Lee plushie at the WrestleMania store, and I almost
even though he beat the shit out of Brock in Rumble. Okay, let's forget about that one then.
Yeah, we'll find out something soon. I would hope.
I hope so.
Keith Lee news. I mean,
so overall, what do y'all rate WrestleMania? How many beers would you give Mania?
Do we got to combine both nights though? Because I feel like if I combine both nights, it's gonna drop the score down a little bit.
It's gonna, but
yeah. Okay, night one we'll do separate, and then we'll take an average for the
night one. I would give night one. Is that a 6-pack?
Yeah,
I'll give it 5 beers.
Okay, I think I agree. I go 5. And what about night 2? Wait, Neo, what do you think about night 1?
Night 1, I want to give it 4.
Okay. All right. 4. What could have been better on night 1 for you?
Let me pull up the tag team turmoil match was a big turn off.
Yeah.
For me, the only real match that I liked was the the Cesaro versus where is it? Let me pull up the card.
Cesaro and Seth.
That was the woman. The turmoil was a woman's match, right? The women's
yeah.
tag.
Yeah, it's women's
that's
match.
Where Dana Brooks' nipple made an appearance.
Heyo.
And Mandy slipped.
He had a nice little blackout moment on the screen when that
happened. That was funny.
I totally didn't see that. It was, I guess everything was happening so fast.
Mandy did biff it. That was funny.
Yeah,
and then Randy Orton clowned her on night 2. And
she fell right on her hole.
It was so good.
That was good. I feel like it was a lot of fan service first night. Second night, they were like, now let's just do whatever we want. And it kind of showed.
Night 2 just felt like I was watching a really bad edition of Raw and SmackDown combined.
Yeah.
It was not that I just was not. It didn't have. There was too much good, great stuff on night 1. Aside from the main event was great. I enjoyed Cedric and Big E, but I don't know.
Apollo and Big E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Apollo, my bad.
Yeah. It was all right. Like, what was the point of the drums and all that? They didn't use anything.
No, it was a kendo stick match. It was a Nigerian kendo stick match, is what it was.
I think it was just to debut that guy, to re-debut the big guy.
Jabba Kato, yeah.
Well, he used to be Swamp Cooler in Retribution. That was him, right?
No, he wasn't in Retribution, was he?
I thought he was in Retribution.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was Raw Underground.
Yeah, but I didn't like Bobby versus Drew. It just felt clunky to me, which can be a good thing / bad thing. Or a good thing or a bad thing, in my opinion. The tag team turmoil match was shit. I wasn't a big fan of the cage match either.
Oh, God, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a lot. Like the saving graces of night 1 were Cesaro, Seth, Bad Bunny, and Damian, and the main event was still pretty. I'm sorry. The main event of night 1 was the women. That's what saved it for me.
Yeah,
I agree. So let's talk about the main event of night 2. What did y'all think? Did the right man win and in the right fashion? And I kept telling everybody around me, Roman needs to never lose. Like maybe till SummerSlam. And so as cool as it would be to see an Edge win, I don't think that's not best for business.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this main event got 5 stars from Uncle Dave.
What?
Wait, well, hold. Are you serious?
I think so.
On the site that I go to, gave it.
Let me look it up.
What makes you say that?
I thought I saw something on Twitter. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, do that. That'd be fucking shocking.
It really would be.
And I don't think, honestly, I don't think Roman's gonna lose. It's gonna be a SummerSlam. I don't think it's gonna be this year. I think sometime later this year, if they're going to try to book Roman versus The Rock, this is the time to do it.
So next year,
later,
or the year after?
No, just Mania next year
in Dallas.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? You're gonna get 100,000 in there. This is the time to do it.
Calling yourself the head of the table, like you're not the head of the family, bro.
No, like, you're not.
That'd be The Rock, sir.
Yeah, he's the only one. Like, you got to beat him. I don't see that match up here at the 5-star rated matches. Highest, most recent match is Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, which got 4.5, which was really good. So
Dave hates WWE products.
What a hater! What a hater! Like, come on, that's a 5-star. I honestly think Bianca and Sasha's a 5-star. Like, he's a hater. What a hater.
Did y'all watch like that tag team match on AEW? That was fucking 5 stars.
Okay, that's a great match. It really was.
We're talking
that
about
might be my
sir.
I know.
All right, so let's finish up. Let's finish up WrestleMania. We'll get into that because that was a great match. So finishing up WrestleMania, I'd also give night 1 a 4.5, 5-pack, and 5 out of 6, and night 2 maybe 3. Like,
yeah, night 2 got a 2-pack for me. It got 2 small cans.
I'll give you that, a 2. Roman and Rock at WrestleMania in Hollywood, I think makes the most sense, and that gives Rock enough time in advance to book it, which is 2023. Yeah.
Wow.
We're going, boys.
We can't keep Roman undefeated till then, but why not?
We're going.
But then the question is, who beats him?
I don't know.
Almost beats him.
Come back.
Cena. I heard a guy say he thinks it's Roman and Cena next year, and then maybe Rock and Cena after that.
Again.
Why? No one wants to see the super punch from John Cena.
Oh,
nobody wants to see the Fast and the members fight.
So what about Big E? If they get behind Big E,
I love it.
I love to see it. I think you just set him up to get knocked down by Roman, to be honest. But I would love to see it.
Yeah, no, Big E they put the battery behind Big E and let Big E do his thing.
I'd like to see it. That's to me the positive of him losing that match is like, all right, now he can move up maybe into some some main event stuff.
Main event, yeah, main card, main event, yeah, that's where he belongs.
Yeah,
he paid his dues.
So, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about it, y'all. Black Thursday is what this day will be known as. WWE announced the release of several superstars today, including Samoa Joe, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Mojo Rawley, Kalisto, Chelsea Green, Bo Dallas, Wesley Blake, and Tucker. Now, they were seeming to come out like one at a time. Like first it was Billie Kay, and then like an hour later it was Peyton Royce. So I wonder if there was like, oh, you got a problem with it? Peace. Nah, or like I don't know if they had them planned because it seemed weird because they came out in separate announcements.
It came out in waves first, and then
what's the biggest surprise on that list for you guys?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, who was already shining in commentary, and in my opinion, or at least we thought he was only doing commentary until he was able to come back. And maybe they had a real tough conversation with him and was like, are you ready to come back? And he might have been like, no. And they've been like, we can't pay you a worker's salary. So you might have to get a pay cut. And he might have had an issue with that. I don't know. But
okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
This is kind of where I'm a little bothered. Okay, I'm a lot bothered because WWE cut profits. Like they made profits. During the pandemic, they made profits.
There's only two companies that made profit in pandemic: WWE
Amazon and
Zoom.
WWE.
And the one that
Zoom definitely did too.
They gave me 2.25%. Yeah, that's them too.
Bingo.
2%. Wow. Okay, so a few companies are still eating. All right, so without house shows, you know what kind of deals you got to finagle without house shows to make a profit?
Yeah, but they're paying less in overhead, right? And
are they? That Thunderdome is cheap.
They're probably paying less in overhead because you don't have to keep renting out individual zones. You can buy it in bulk. You can also, they're probably also paying less for travel and things of that nature. You know, that's kind of where my head's at.
Those
and when I mean overhead,
their own travel anyway.
But they still get some sort of reimbursement,
trucks, like the WWE trucks,
like all that
reimbursement. The workers,
I would hope, right? They're independent contractors. Maybe they can write that off. I hope
contractors. They cover their own travel and hotels. They never cover that stuff for them.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of surprised me, because I had no idea that these two were so beloved by the internet wrestling community. I had no idea that people cared about the Iconics the way they did. I was never really big on them, and the internet was really surprised that Billie Kay and Peyton Royce got let go.
They were really entertaining, and they were just kind of getting over.
And they just got that Peacock bag.
No, you're right. The Peacock bag, they just basically they took. You gotta say that's a big move because they took their entire network, all their million subscribers, and was like, "Here you go, that's money." So they have signed 2 separate billion-dollar deals in the last few years, and again, I don't know why y'all assuming this is budget cuts. I think this is just cutting dead weight. In their opinion, I don't think this is budgetary.
But John Laurinaitis was on the horn saying we're doing this because of budget cuts.
Oh yeah, it's John Laurinaitis. It's John, Big John, Colin. Hey Samoa, we got.
That's a lie. I don't believe that at all. That's a lie.
I hate John.
Well, I'll also say this: I'm pretty sure Vince is recouping the loss from the XFL. I said it. whatever.
Wait,
He just wants to line. He just
They
wants to line
sold
his
that
pockets.
too.
He
They
just wants to
sold that
line his pockets,
too.
but he sold it at a loss, right?
I think so. Yeah. All right, that's fair. But they got
He sold
Peacock.
it to the Rock for
To the Rock.
on the discount rack.
He got Young Rock, the show that they're in. Like, I don't know, man. They're in on a lot. They've made a lot of money moves in the past year. And I don't think this is budgetary because I don't think any of these guys were top earners. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Kalisto's salary was not hurting nobody.
I mean, if you look at the names that were released last year and the names this year, I mean, it was all people that weren't really doing shit, essentially.
But Joe was doing shit.
Well,
Billy Kay was in WrestleMania. Like, she was literally on the show.
Like, she just worked. Joe called the show in a poncho.
Yeah.
Yo, I just sat in the rain for y'all.
Do you think he's hurt? Like, do you think he's hurt and maybe couldn't get cleared, so they had no reason to keep him?
That's what I think. I honestly think they came to him, or maybe he came to them and like, yo, I'm clear, and they were like, we ain't got nothing for you. You know, that could have happened too.
He never had a fucking run with the strap either, which is nuts.
You're telling me like there's a Samoan dynasty brewing, and you couldn't put the Samoan with the Samoans? I mean, I don't care if it's like
bingo. You're absolutely that is the number one thing. You got a Samoan dynasty happening on SmackDown. You can't set Joe up and Roman. Come on, that's money.
He could have been Roman.
He could have eliminated Paul.
He could have been Roman's destroyer.
Yeah,
literally.
And they could have got rid of Paul Heyman after that and kept it all Samoan blood.
And then Brock could have came.
Yeah, Joe could have done Talking Smack. He could have done Talking Raw. He could have done all that raw dogging and just like big up the Samoans.
Oh man, Jay Gangsta said there was no room at the table.
I mean,
fuck you, Jay Gangsta.
So
no room at the table for Joe.
Joe would bring the Hawaiian rolls to the cookout. Like, that's how beloved he is.
King's Hawaiian.
The King's Hawaiians, my guy.
Yeah, man. It's
okay, so here's an interesting point, and I've wondered about this. Drizzen has a hot take on this, that Samoa Joe doesn't count as Samoan, that his family is and was shunned by the NOI family. Your name is just Joe. Remember Roman said that? You just Joe.
Fucking
not Samoa.
So apparently Joe's family left really, really early, and he's never been involved in any way with anything that the NOI family's been doing.
Suspend your disbelief once in a while. God damn, like whatever.
But right, it's wrestling. Who cares?
The Bliss bleeding black goo and
right, it's wrestling. Who cares? His name is Samoa Joe. Like that's it. So you think like a guy like suspend your disbelief? Like who cares?
And I'm the one that never suspends my disbelief. And I'm like, come on.
I appreciate you doing that, Rock, because that's for real. Okay, so the question is, who do you see out of this group of folks making the biggest impact outside of WWE? We got Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Mojo, Kalisto, Chelsea Green, Bo Dallas, Wesley Blake, and Tucky.
I think Mickie James could make a huge impact on the AEW women's roster to bring a veteran presence. And I think, honestly, I mean, the Iconics would probably add some luster to that division as well.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Mickie James just went back to NWA with Nick Aldis and they do some sort of power couple thing, right?
Is that her? Then, are they married?
Yeah,
they're married.
Okay.
Yeah, and with that thought in mind, because NWA and AEW kind of have a working relationship, I mean, Mickie James could, in theory, pop up on AEW with that relationship.
Sure.
Because they defended that NWA strap on AEW television before. I think right now, Serena Deeb is the title holder.
Yeah.
And she was also part of Black Wednesday Part 1. Let's not forget that. So
her name? What was her name in WWE?
Serena Deeb. I forget her name in the WWE, but she was mostly like a trainer, coach type of person for the in the performance lab. And like, you know, I think if Mickie James goes to NWA, she has that power couple thing with Nick Aldis, and then she also has a crack in the door for AEW.
Sure.
Yeah, there is a relationship with NWA over there. As far as I know, Thunder Rosa isn't even signed to AEW. She's still an NWA wrestler, but she just shows up. So there is an open relationship. I would love to see her and Nick Aldis pop up. I think that would be really dope. And even if without her, like I think without Nick, I think she would be a huge addition to that roster. Definitely.
For sure. Yeah. I think Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, I think, in my opinion, they would probably do better in Impact. No, I'm sorry. They would probably do better in ROH, because I feel like the ROH women's division could use both of them. Because Impact division right now, the women's division is kind of stacked. Like, they have some really good stuff. Yeah. Like, I could see Chelsea Green either going back to Impact, but I mean, either
she's from Impact.
Yeah.
Was she hurt a lot in Impact, or was that just here in WWE?
You know what, I didn't really follow a lot of Impact prior to Kenny Omega, so I'm not sure. But if anybody in the chat knows, for sure.
Let me ask you this: and how crazy would this be? What if Samoa Joe made a return to Impact?
Yeah,
that'd be fire.
Yeah. You know what I was just thinking though is like Sean Spears though. Isn't he together with Peyton Royce?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's kind of that thing, right?
I'm sure he's like, "Yo, come through. I can talk to Tony," and you know, I'm sure that's happening.
July 14th is when the no compete clause is up. It's 90 days. So 90 days from today is officially, June 14th, July 14th.
Damn. Then we get a valet for the Pinnacle. Thank you.
Oh,
what's the
Pinnacle? You, Wixie.
That's MJF's new crew. That's the stable. The new Horsemen.
The Pineapples.
Don't do that.
No, they're not the new Horsemen. The stable keepers.
I did see like 15 minutes of AEW this week.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of AEW, and then we can move forward. I thought it was a solid episode, to be honest. Neo, I would love to talk to you about this tag team match, which I thought was phenomenal. But we are a hip hop culture podcast as well.
Okay. Later, Rock.
So we have to. No, Rock, you can stick around for this.
No,
you saw the photo.
Gone, homie.
Oh, Jesus! You saw the photo of the Young Bucks in the Air Jordan Dior ones. These are shoes that are anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 sneakers. Question is,
not bad.
Did they do it? Were these real? Does it matter? And what's up with that?
Hey,
I honestly feel like it's a perfect heel move. Whether they're real or fake, it's a super heel move that I love. It's like
you're talking about the Dior ones.
Yeah, it's a heel flex, whether they're fake or not. I think it's like a really good move because it makes people talk about them, it makes people hate them. And I was like, since when you seen sneakerheads talk about wrestling? You know, like
exactly. Sneakerheads were making a stink when someone wore the Dior ones at the inauguration. Was that with Joe Biden? Like there was some dude wearing Dior ones who I don't know who was, but he was wearing Dior ones. Yeah, sneakerheads making a big stink. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it was genius. They're trying to transcend the business. The Young Bucks for the longest time have been wearing very unique colorways of the Jordan 1s or the Space Jams or the whatevers. Yeah, I kind of liked it. I was kind of like hee when I saw it because I'm like, bro, like they're obviously doing a money flex first and foremost. And I mean, that's the other thing. Like, I automatically hate anybody who's trying to flex their money in front of me. Right?
Exactly.
I'm over here
one likes that. We in the middle of a panoramic, and you out here like, yo, I'm gonna just crease these $10,000 J's up because I don't care. That's straight heat. Like, I love it. I think
I'm over here on StockX looking at everything under retail. Pulling up my plug, Rock Knowledge. Hey, yo, when is this shit going on sale, homie?
Right.
And they just do it. They belligerent, or what is it? They habitually crease those ones in front of my face.
Like, these old things. That was great. So even outside of the match, them wrestling in them, but to just pose in them and crease them that's just great heat. That's heel work, baby.
It was hilarious.
I agree. The heel bucks are far better to me than face bucks, and I like it. I like that.
And the story behind it. I know you guys don't watch the BTE stuff, but man, like the story behind it, it really just kind of sucks you in. It just because if you're a big, I mean, I've admitted this to you, Ran. What got me back into wrestling was like not only you, but like you're telling me about like these guys in Japan. And then I fell in love with the Bullet Club because I'm a smart. And like seeing all that shit happen, you know, it just kind of revitalized my spirit for wrestling and just kind of seeing what got me back to the dance and all of a sudden getting another dance with these guys. I love it. Like, that's just me.
Yeah, I thought it was great. So let's get into the action. There was a lot to like here. We got Mike Tyson, which I was talking to a friend off like on text. I love what Mike's doing with them, but I don't need him having so much mic time. What WWE did, or WWF back then, did so great with Mike Tyson is they just made him look tough. He wasn't on the mic talking about, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, no, we don't need that. Yeah. We just need him looking tough and knocking people out. Too much mic time. Him and MJF together, I didn't need it.
However, another side of that coin, I'll tell you what, though, Ran. The fact that we don't hear him talk as much, and then finally we're getting him, you know, being eloquent on the mic, in my opinion, was refreshing because you didn't really get to hear what he had to say, you know? And the fact that he went tit for tat with MJF, not as a wrestling promo, but as a person promo, because he kept cutting off MJF during those promos. And it was kind of refreshing to see like a kind of like a real side to the show because Mike Tyson's not privy to the business 100%. He doesn't know that he has to wait till MJF is over. He's cutting that motherfucker off like at the pass, you know?
Right.
He ate his blank check. You know,
he ate the check. That was hard.
And he spit it at him. So I kind of like the fact that it went against the grain. You know, fedoras on. Like, I just kind of like that fact that it was just different. You know.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. That's a good perspective on it. I just thought, I feel like the more he talks, like you open opportunities for him to kind of be exposed. You know what I mean? So it's like if he messes up, if he doesn't sound convincing. You know what I mean? It could leave him open to not be taken seriously or feared. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Just like how like they used to show. Remember when he first came through on the show? He was yawning during the championship match. He was holding the title. He
was like, right. It's like, maybe we shouldn't have showed that. Oops.
You know.
So yeah, we get some mic. We get the Young Bucks without the tassels, which I'm sure Rock Knowledge can appreciate.
They had the chandelier headbands though.
Biggest pet peeves about the Bucks is in fucking tassels.
Yeah, he didn't like the tassels. He thought, you know, too kitty, too rocker. We don't get tassels, but now they got the head thing, which
tassels.
The head tassels.
Well, there's those chandeliers. It was made out of Swarovski crystals. Right?
Oh, of course. Scamdeliers. Jay Cargill looked really good, and so did Red Velvet.
Dude.
Man, I can't say enough about Jay Cargill. I think like this is like her 5th match, and like she looks great.
I think it's like her third match. Yeah, like she
maybe
just like a monster.
And she took her first bump of the match, and there's a moment where the announcers were like, "Whoa!" Like she got her down. You know, like they absolutely played up the monster heel, and that's how you're supposed to do it. Like if she takes a bump, it's a big deal. Yeah. So I like that. Also, like Britt Baker talking about the ranking system, which I've talked about a lot here, and why people need to be moving in certain directions. So, but we've already gone there. Also, Anthony Ogogo looks pretty good. I mean, very green, but I thought it looked good.
Yeah, he gut punched somebody to death.
Yo, if you're gonna end the match with a gut punch, you got to make it look good, and he did. He was like, "Bow!"
I'm really excited to see like this factory faction, right? Because I like factions, because I mean, New Japan, AEW, even ROH is doing like the whole faction thing. I like it just because it gives everybody a chance to shine in some way, shape, or form. And I kind of like the way the factory was formed. They're like, fuck Cody Rhodes.
I like what it's about.
He's a mark for himself.
Yeah,
we're coming out here because we want to fucking wrestle.
It's stuff that we agree with. Like, okay, Cody's always putting himself over, blah, blah, blah. What about us? So it's a good cause. Now they just have to hold up their end of it and wrestle well. Mainly I just want to talk about that tag match, man. The Bucks and to me, one of the best probably the top 2 tag teams in wrestling right now, Pac and Phoenix, which this has got to be a 5-star match right here.
And let's also not forget Pac and Phoenix. They're not technically, I mean, the Lucha Bros are supposed to be the tag team. You bring Pac into the mix, he's just an accelerator. And he looks like a fucking monster. Like when Pac wrestles, like the fact that Pac and Ray Phoenix together, and you finally see them go all out with like they basically. To me, it was kind of like remember when Piccolo and Goku would train with like weighted clothing?
Okay,
it kind of felt like that where they took off the weighted clothing and they just kind of went all out.
You know what I mean, right, Rock? you feel them. So yeah, it's these guys can go, man, and it's just a pleasure to watch. I don't know if you saw that match, Rock, but fire.
I didn't see that one. What I caught was, and I was going to ask you guys because this is the first time I've seen this large monster of a man. The dude that came out with Taz, is it Hobbs?
Yeah, Will Hobbs.
Jesus Christ. Fucker's huge.
Big dude, powerhouse Hobbs.
He beat the fuck out of Christian.
He beat
like
he did. Beat the brakes off him. So we're getting that match next week, which I'm looking forward to. Like putting some hands on Christian.
And let's put our fedoras on. Like, shout outs to Christian, right? He wants to like get it in with anybody right now. So, and I don't want to say anybody like whatever, but like he is open to wrestle like anybody, Will Hobbs included.
Yeah. AEW is definitely faction-mania. There are so many factions, I think, to the point where there's almost too many because
nope, not me.
You don't have enough time. Like the factory, I don't think there's enough time in a 2-hour show to really get these people known.
That's why there's AEW Dark, AEW Dark Elevation.
No one has time for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't need to watch Raw anymore, homie. You got something else to watch on Mondays.
I mean, you might be right. Raw is terrible right now.
Dog shit.
It's bad. It's bad. So maybe we need to start moving over to Dark and Dark Elevation. AEW Dark Web.
Listen, I'll be like, I've been called an AEW mark, obviously, on this podcast time and time again, but I have never not been disappointed majorly with watching anything AEW puts out. And what's the mantra? Watch what you like.
That's true.
I'm watching what I like because I'm not as mad as I was when I've been watching Raw. So, to anybody out there, if you want to call me the bail bondsman for AEW, fine, whatever. At least I'm happy. Like, it's just fun.
About AEW. Now that NXT is a Tuesday night program, if there's not a significant bump in AEW ratings, does that say anything to you? Since the audience
there was already a bump this week.
Was there a bump? Was there a bump this past week? Okay.
They got up into the millions.
Yeah, people are watching. Yeah. When now that they're unopposed, they're hitting the millions. So I don't know.
Did you catch NXT on Tuesday?
I caught one match, and I just wanted to talk to you about it because it was fire. Kushida and Escobar.
Man, I wasn't expecting the change.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
what a shocker. I mean, I love Kushida, but like they got it in. And I wasn't expecting a title change at all. Like you just built Escobar as the one true champ. Like what's up with that?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest Karate McFly fan, but you know, it's cool.
That's a piece of shit.
Yeah. So disrespectful. Karate McFly.
And I'm laughing my ass off.
Oh my god! I need them to get a rematch and maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll flip flop it. It shocked me though, but it was great match. What else on NXT tickled your fancy?
I just like that title reunion on NXT, bro. Like that.
Phenomenal.
That hit my heart right there. Like watching all them ladies all the women from AEW from NXT have gold come back to their hometown or to their home show and be like, "Yo, anything is possible." You know,
Cool.
Like, why not?
Ladies being out there first,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear Rhea's music hit, and then you hear Bianca's hit, and then that photo behind them.
Oh,
And they all point.
it was special.
I was like, yes.
What a moment!
It was special.
Dope.
So
special. It was great. It was dope. I enjoyed that. The Swerve and with Leon Ruff stuff that's continuing. Those guys are gonna kill each other.
That's like the new generation of Fight Forever. Like, why the fuck not? Like, those boys can really get it in.
They just fight and they do crazy shit, and it's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They go, they go in.
Yeah, no.
So now that everything's on a different day, I will be watching NXT more often. For the most part, Wednesdays, AEW's been getting my time, but I'm gonna do my best.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
so much stuff.
Isn't Impact on Thursday?
Impact's on Thursday.
Impact on Thursday. We can talk about that too. You announced it right before we went live. That we have the return of one of our favorite people in wrestling, who's going to be calling that Impact match. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, man. I read today Mauro Ranello's going to be calling the Kenny Omega and Rich Swann match.
That's dope.
That's fucking incredible, man.
Anytime Mauro's back, I'm all for it.
I've missed Mauro since Mauro has not been doing NXT. He is doing like Showtime, Bellator MMA. He does their boxing and their other fights. But I miss hearing Mauro call wrestling because he's so good. And Mauro is so good.
So, Rock, I gotta ask you, homie. Yeah. I gotta ask you, how many Mamma Mias are we gonna get with Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann? I know you know who Rich Swann is because he's been. I know,
yes, I'm aware.
Yeah. So
Swann
it's like how many Mamma Mias are we gonna get?
We're gonna get a lot of Mamma Mias.
I'm going six Mamma Mias minimum.
To my knowledge, I don't think Mauro's ever called a Kenny Omega match.
No,
I mean, well, he used to call New Japan stuff, but I don't think he called a lot of Kenny Omega stuff. Yeah. So
it's gonna be fun, man. I mean, Rich Swann, Kenny Omega, that's taking place at their next pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think it's called Rebellion.
Are there pay-per-views on Saturdays or Sundays?
I think they do Saturdays.
Let me pull it up
right now. I got the card.
Rebellion is the 25th. Is that the one?
That should be the next one.
It's just, okay. So it's title versus title. Kenny Omega, Rich Swann.
Yeah.
X Division, Ace Austin versus Josh Alexander versus TJ Peace in Impact. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we're talking like this whole belt collector match has been about, I want to say, at least 5, maybe even 6 weeks in the making.
Okay.
You know, so like if you're invested in like, you know, storytelling, I mean, you've got enough to be kind of hooked in.
Who's Trey Miguel?
He was part of the MSK. He was part of the Rascals.
Oh, okay. Because he has a last man standing.
They used to be a trio. Now they're obviously they broke off.
This card is
a good card.
James Storm, Chris Sabin, Willie Mack.
Love Willie Mack. Willie Mack's a homie.
I think this is a good card.
Impact. I'm actually intrigued.
I talk about it a lot, man. Impact maybe doesn't have the best like production values, but the wrestling is right up there with what you're seeing on anywhere else.
Wait,
but their commentary game is stepped up.
Ring or the octagon looking ring again?
No, they don't do that anymore.
They may bust out the octagon for like pay-per-views sometimes, but I don't know if they're gonna bust it out this time.
Oh, this card is intriguing. I may end up wanting to watch this one because I want to hear more. To be honest, I want to hear
more. Okay, so this one will be on a Sunday on the 25th. If you are interested, I want to look at the press conference which happened tonight, so I'll check that out and we'll be talking about it on our socials. Well, speaking of socials, you can add the MatMania Podcast on Twitter at MatMania Pod or on Instagram MatMania Podcast, and we also have a Patreon where we're going to be going next to talk about all the things that we love inside and outside of wrestling. So you can go in there and pay that money and join the conversation. So I think that's about it. We're going to try to wrap there.
If I could just plug one more thing. Yeah. From April 14th till April 17th, so hopefully 2 more days, Pro Wrestling Tees is having a 20% off all t-shirts. So go to prowrestlingtees.com/MatMania Podcast. Use the promo code SPRINGFLING and get 20% off the MatMania Podcast t-shirts and CDs.
Yes. Put in the codes. What is it? SPRINGFLING?
SPRINGFLING.
All right. And you're getting 20% off and free USA shipping on orders over $100, I think.
$150, homie.
Oh, $150. You got to spend that real money. So do that. Grab yourself a t-shirt or 2.
Get the homies together, place a big order.
That's the way you do it. You get the homies together.
Save on the shipping.
Yeah. So grab a couple t-shirts and support your favorite hip-hop / wrestling podcast.
The Southwest Authority of stuff.
Apparently, that's what I mean.
Pop culture and all things in between, I think is what she says.
There you go.
We should know this, guys, but you know.
We should know our tagline. We don't
should
even know
our tag.
Oh well. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna stay tuned if you are watching us live, because we're gonna be on Patreon doing taking your questions, your comments, and anything that you want to add to the conversation. But if you are watching us or listening to us on any of your podcast apps, we are out of here like Mojo Rawley at this point. Sorry, y'all.
Fuck that guy.
I'm sorry. Out of here like Kalisto. Sorry, guys.
Out of here like
He's the lucha guy, right? He's a lucha, or is he the lucha?
He is.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you're talking about, like he was kicked out, but his homies in the Lucha House Party, the faction that he started, are still like employed. Come on,
it's weird, man. And Velveteen Dream still has a job. But
fuck that, puto.
Neither here nor there. All right, y'all. We up out of here. So see you next week. We're getting ever closer to 200. We're gonna have a special, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something special for 200.
We're gonna get crunk.
We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna get drunk.
We're gonna get crunk. Chicka, yeah. Chicka.
It's gonna be great.
What?
Thank you so much. And as always, you know what to do. Keep your shoulders off the mat. All right, peace. All right, we're starting the next show right away. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, I'm drinking this Cactus Jack Cacti Hard Seltzer. It's pretty good.
Cactus Jack, like Mick Foley?
No, Travis Scott.
Travis Scott.
Oh, that's Travis Scott.
Yo,
he's into everything, man. Shout out to Travis.
Yo, it's 7%.
How you do McDonald's and beer deals at the same
time?
It's
7%, homie. It's like
hey, you're halfway there, Rand. You got the beer deal. You did the thing with Sierra Nevada, so get that McDonald's bread now.
Now I need that McDonald's.
No, you got to get that Philly. You got to get a Philly Berto's burrito, homie.
Yo, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Call it the Mayor Rand.
Lifetime carne asada fries. What?
Yes. Jay Gangsta said, "I believe we're out of here." I should have said that. Thank you.
I believe you're right.
The Octagon ring was actually kind of cool, you know. They don't, but yeah, if they pull it back out, that'll be fun to watch.
Well, like AAA does it, like, and it's really fun to see. Yeah, AAA. If you ever get to see luchadors fighting that in that Octagon ring, dude, it's pretty crazy.
Is Kenny still their champion?
Yes,
AAA.
Yeah, he is still.
They're like they're broke, so they can't do shows and stuff.
Take that, Mexico.
Oh, they can't.
It's weird because He doesn't even carry the belt. So
even Leo Rush is like their like middleweight champion. It's crazy.
Wow.
So you got no Mexicans.
It was like a technicality. He won that just on. He didn't even win that. He wasn't supposed to win that, from what I read.
You got no Mexicans repping the Mexican title.
Like no Mexicans with your titles. That's crazy. Give it to Laredo Kid or somebody.
There was no Mexicans involved in WrestleMania.
Yeah, there was only.
Wait a minute.
Ricans.
What?
There was only Puerto Ricans.
Hey, we had 2 Puerto Ricans.
That's why when I was at Rock's house, or not Rock's house. That's why when I was at Derek's house, I looked over at him and I just said, like, "Fuck you, man."
That's crazy. No Mexicans. Man, that's a shame. Humberto Carrillo was so good beginning of the year.
Andrade's gone.
Of course, Andrade. Dang, man. Garza.
Angel Garza.
So much freaking talent just sitting there, man.
What happened? Where's Angel Garza been?
I don't know. Garza's dope. I don't understand.
The damn Lothario.
Wow. Wixie said that she just got reminded that Joe wouldn't job to Kenny back in Kenny's Winnipeg days. So maybe he will not show up on AEW. I didn't know that. He refused to job to Kenny back in the day.
That's some inside info right there.
And Triple A was the first to do the Octagon ring. Shout out to them.
Really? Even before Impact back like 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
I feel like they had it. I didn't know that. So they just stole it from him. You know how Americans do. They steal stuff. Yo. So, let's do our putovers. What are you guys into that's not pro wrestling these days? I haven't thought about it, so I'm going to go last.
I'll go first. So, my show is back on the USA Network. It is the final season 5 of Queen of the South. It's 2 episodes deep. If you have not seen the show, you need to watch the show from the beginning. It's very good. Alice Braga is the lead. She's been a snack of the week. It's dope, man. It's drugs and shooting and
which
murder.
We didn't do on the main show.
Huh?
We didn't do a snack of the week on the main show.
We'll do the snack of the week here.
Okay, we can do it here.
We didn't even bury anybody.
Yeah, we did my job.
Yeah.
5% raise they gave.
Burying companies that make profit and then say they got to do things to save money. We ain't got no money.
But yeah,
that's the burial. Queen of the South. Okay.
It's on USA Network. It is on at like 7 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. This is their final season. I've been a fan since day one, so I'm glad it's back. I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes of the new season. I've put it over before, so listen to me, check it out. It's good watching. I think seasons 1 through 4 are on Netflix, so if you have the Netflix, binge it.
Where do you watch it right now? Live?
USA.
USA.
At my mom's house.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's got cable, so I go over there and watch it.
Do you also watch Raw there?
We all do.
Really?
My mom and my stepdad will be sitting there watching, and that's why my mom likes Bad Bunny now because of Raw.
Wow.
She's a Bad Bunny fan, bro. It's fucking crazy.
You got to get her a ticket to the concert then. They're on sale now.
Yeah, like $1,400. Some shit.
Yeah. She's a Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. So, yeah, man.
Word up. All right, Leo, what you got?
I've been watching an oldie or rewatching an oldie / goodie on HBO Go. Great Teacher Onizuka popped up on
GTO.
Popped up on my anime recommended list, and I'm like, HBO, how you know I like some GTO? But yeah, and then I did a little bit of like
live action. Have you seen the live action movie?
I've seen the live action movie. I have.
It's not as good as the
It's not as good. I mean, live action anime movies are never as good as the animes. But I mean, we're talking like this anime came out like in 1997, 1998 when I was like a 6th grader. you know, and you know, you just kind of get to rewatch it, and you know, you get those quotable moments in GTO, and you know, you like look at the way it's drawn. And you can see like an influence like of some of the animes you see now. And you know what? Ikichi Onizuka, I wish he was my teacher. If I could pick my teachers, it'd be Ikichi Onizuka or Mr. Jarbo over here.
Oh, shucks. Flattery will get you everywhere.
To be my teachers. So, I mean, I honestly wanted to be a teacher after watching this anime. Not because of some of the perverted stuff he did, but because of the fact that he would impact, these kids' lives in a positive way. So, I really liked it. And if you're a big fan of GTO, I remember there was a lot of prequels too with him and his homeboy. I think his name is Ryu or Ryuji when they were like in the Onibaku. So give it another shot. I mean, it still holds up in my opinion. GTO on HBO Go.
Word. That's what's up. Okay. I was about to put over a movie that I watched on the plane, but then I realized I really didn't like it. So I'm
movie.
I'm not gonna bury it, but maybe I should. The movie was American Skin. Have y'all heard of this?
Heard of it.
Negative.
Nate Parker, who's like kind of like a bad person, apparently. Like he had a ton of like allegations against him, and but he did this movie that Spike Lee like produced or helped produced, and it's called American Skin. It is based on like it's like one of those ripped from the headlines, like this happens today, like type thing. Like his son gets killed by the police. It's very basic, you know what I mean? Like, and I also don't like these movies that kind of benefit off of like really tough traumatic stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what this feels like. It feels like trauma porn, and I didn't like that.
So like it like glorifies it.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, aren't you mad? Aren't you feeling something? Look at what happened, and it's like, I don't know. So don't go see it. I mean, maybe if you see it for free. But I actually spent money. Ghost is in it. He plays his brother. Give it a watch, but I don't think it's on any like free sites. I had to rent it, and I don't rent movies very often. I had to rent it on iTunes to watch it. So I wouldn't recommend that. But if you see it for free on the old Fire Stick, I ain't mad. But anyway, I will put over something that is cool and that I do like, which is myself. I'm gonna put me and my wife Rachel over because as of yesterday, we completed foster parent classes. So we are in the market to become foster parents, man. Like we want to make a difference in some kid's life. So
really, because you can come babysit my kids if you want. Like it's fine.
Pretty sure Monica will let you borrow Milo if you need it.
Neo, your kids are bad, so I don't know. Your boys are rough, man. But yeah, we got a couple more things we need to do next week or so, like getting the proper paperwork, but we've completed our first step in foster parent training, and it's been beautiful, like hearing the stories, talking to people who've done it, and they're just like, man, it's a very fulfilling thing. So we're about to get in the market and get a kid.
Did you ever talk to Hancock, friend of the show? Because he fosters kids too.
I heard that. I have talked to him a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says he says it's super rewarding.
Dope. I'm gonna reach out to Hancock as well as get some guidance on it. So yeah, man, I'm afraid, especially with the stories we see. It's like, oh, these kids, they're coming from trauma, they're coming from real rough situations.
These kids are wounded.
Yeah, and like they need a home, they need love, and they're not always gonna appreciate that home and that love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's gonna be a challenge, but I'm up to it, man. We got love to give, so we wanna help the kids. You know what I'm saying? So
happy for you and wifey.
Thank you. So that's what I'm gonna put over.
Well, I tell you what, homie, you got me as a backup for them play dates. So you hit me up, bro.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll all get the kids out, and hit a playground or something.
Look at Tio Neo. Tio Neo Schiavone.
Where, bro? Got this other kid on the way. Fuck it.
Hey, new kid on the way. It's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. I guess.
Yes. Get out of here.
It's gonna be expensive.
I also just want to mention one other thing. Today is April 15th, which is actually also in Major League Baseball. It's Jackie Robinson Day. This is the day that Jackie Robinson broke into the major leagues in 1947. So I don't want to not mention that because that is huge for him breaking the color barrier. And Jackie Robinson is Jackie Robinson. If you don't know who Jackie Robinson is, I don't know what to tell you. Go use your
Googles.
The dude was a pioneer.
Do your Googles.
The Googles.
You gotta please do yourself a favor. Find out about Jackie Robinson. That's what's up. Shout out to the legendary Jackie Robinson. I have my friend's grandpa. I'll never forget before the movie, because you've seen the movie, right? 42, Chadwick.
Yeah.
Before that, he told me, because we grew up in Philly, and he told me he would never be a Phillies fan because the Phillies were the last team to integrate in baseball.
Wow.
And they were like fighting it. And they show that in the movie. They reference it in 42. Like, I forget who it was who played the Phillies manager, but he was like, they didn't want to integrate. And so for that, he was like, yeah, like to this day, I'll never root for the Phillies because they were the last team that did not want to integrate. Like, they tried to fight it really hard.
It was Ben Chapman. I just
Googled I'll never forget the power of the Googles. But yeah, man, I'll never forget that. He was just like, yo, I'll never ever root for. I don't care if they win the championship. I don't care. Like, nope. The fact is, they never wanted to integrate, and I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. So,
it's 1947 was a ways back, but in reality, it's not that. I mean, the wait time.
Not that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago, man? It was not that long ago. Hey, shout out Drizzen for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, Drizzen. Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Like, many of our parents or grandparents were, young and around at the time. That's one generation, maybe two. My mom was born in 1950. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't that long ago.
My parents were 57, but my grandfather is why he used to always buy me like baseball books, and that's why I love baseball. And I know the history as well as I do. I grew up on it. So this, to me, like, days like today are really important because I love the sport. I love what he did. And I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, you see it in the movie, but you can't even imagine what he really dealt with.
Oh, absolutely. What usually gets me into baseball season? Video games. And I just heard that MLB The Show is going to be free on Xbox Game Pass. I'm so hyped. I only play baseball video games. And for the longest time, they wouldn't put the games out. Like remember, who was it? EA was doing triple play for a long time. So I used to play those. And then they just kind of stopped. But MLB The Show is a kind of a game changer.
Oh yeah.
That this game is going to be, like, usually it was PlayStation exclusive, but now it is going to be free on both systems. It'll be on the Xbox Game Pass. I pre-downloaded already. So it comes out maybe the end of this week. I'm trying to think. The 20th next week.
Did you ever play Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball on Nintendo 64?
Yes, I love that game,
bro. That game was so much fun.
Yo, so fun.
Me and my brother used hours playing that shit.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah. So did you ever play a game on Nintendo, on regular Nintendo, called Baseball Stars?
Baseball Stars. Hold on.
I played RBI.
RBI was fun too. It had like the fat, chubby guys. But Baseball Stars, everything was customizable. So you could change the names of every player on the team.
Oh, yes.
To their real names. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I had to Google it to see what it looked like, and I did. Yeah.
So good. Baseball Stars was fire. Oh my God. That's the best one.
Yeah. And Neo said RBI. I used to play RBI like RBI was my shit on Nintendo, man. And it was one of those it was the different cartridge. It was a black cartridge. It wasn't the normal gray Nintendo cartridge.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
It was a Tengen cartridge?
A third party. I think it was Tengen or one of those companies.
Tengen cartridge?
Yep. Okay. The people who made the fake Tetris too.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad we got to talk about
Rock talking video games.
Video games with Rock. How about that? But yo, I'm getting the show first day, so I'm really excited. I never played through a whole season.
Come over and play, man.
Yo, for real. I'm gonna play a short season. I never play a full season. I'll be like, I'll do a half.
You can't do 162?
Nah. I cannot handle 162.
I feel you.
I'll skip. I want to give some shout outs. I want to shout out my homie Torrey Masters, who came out with me to Tampa, his first WrestleMania, and he got to experience the blue carpet treatment, man. He got front row or close enough to front row. Got to chill with and Wale's like his favorite rapper, so he got a chance to chill with Wale, which was cool. He got a chance to. I took this dope picture of him with Omos because Omos was super cool, like taking pictures with everybody, and like you can see the literal size difference. Like this man is
Torrey got the Matt Mania treatment.
He did. He got the Matt Mania treatment. Shout out to him. His album Winning Wars Every Day is out. He wrote a song about Naomi on it, and when he walked up, Naomi was hanging at the bar, and he was just like, "Hey, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan," and she was like, "You're the guy who did the song," and I was like, "Wait, what? How does she know who you are?" Like I was like blown away. I was blown away, and
that made his day. He was
made his day, and he got a picture where I was like, "Yo, how'd you do that?" Like I was just, I kind of just let him mingle, and he did his thing, and then Montez came up to him, was like, "Yo, I heard your album. Jason Ayers, the ref, played it for me. He said it was dope." So like it was kind of insane,
That's surreal.
West Side Gun and Conway come through. Like I was not expecting that. So it was a dope experience being able to talk to everybody. Shout out to MVP for buying the bar. He was just like, "Yo, everybody, you good," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Avius Porter.
Yes, the MVP. Yeah, he held it down, man. Like it was super fun. It was just great to be around people again, man. Like
that's what I miss, man. I miss that.
I understand. I was talking about it in the stream earlier. Like, I don't think we're fully ready to be out in public mingling yet, because once you start getting comfortable, masks start coming off. And then bam, that's when every second, third, fourth wave. You know what I mean? Like we're not ready to socialize because we're social beings and we love to socialize. And so 5 minutes of talking to somebody, you're comfortable enough to take your mask off, and it's like, oh, it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? So we're not ready.
Did you have to so when you were with all those people at the bar and whatnot, was it a requirement to wear a mask? Was anybody wearing a mask? Were you free to not?
Florida says
Florida don't care.
Yeah.
No Florida.
So you can, of course I wore mine, but you didn't have to. Like that's how I recognized like MVP in the first place. I got mine on, but I see him, he don't have his on.
Did you ask
a lot of the folks
the burning question that you have to ask him?
I did, and I almost got beat up for it. I wanted to tell y'all about this. Okay, so
this is Patreon.
This is after this is Patreon. All right, let's set the scene. So the Omos is there. Bobby Lashley walks up. That's right before this big picture we took. Smoke Diz is there.
Yep.
West Side Gun is there.
Yep.
Not Wale. He wasn't there.
Wasn't Kaz in that photo?
Kaz is there, and a few others. And they start talking about how they came up with the Hurt Business song.
Yeah.
And MVP is like, "Yo, man, I was kind of mad at Wale when I heard it, because he was like, he used my government in the song. He said, most valuable like Hassan Assad." And I was like, "Yo, how you going to use my government on the song and then not ask me to be on the song?" He's like, so I immediately hit up Wale and was like, "You need to have some representation of the Hurt Business on this song." So they did. And so then I was like, "All right, hold that thought. Settle a bet here, please, between my friends and I." Did you write that verse? And he was like,
bruh,
"Come on, man. How you going to disrespect me with that question right here in front of all these people? Go ask me something like that." And I was like,
be a problem, homie.
But I was like, "You're a busy dude. You know what I mean? You're on TV every other day. Like you traveling." I was like, "Hey, I won't take nothing from him if somebody else wrote it, because you're a busy guy." And he's like, "Bro, I wrote that." He's like, "Those are real biographical facts in that song that don't show up on no Wikipedia. So don't be asking me."
I'm gonna need you to let me hear it. Rock, you was right.
So that means that in this particular instance, Rock was right. He wrote it. And like, and then Dizza was like, come on, you heard the flow, you heard the cadence. It wasn't none of our flow. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. You said that too. And I was like, I know, but I just had to ask. And he killed that verse.
He did.
And I was like, who has time to do that? Like, you're a full-time wrestler. Like, he killed that verse. One thing I noticed, and I don't know if it was new or whatever, but on Raw, right before Retribution came out, Wheeljack and Tire Iron, right before they came out,
Lugnut,
they play MVP's old music, the Ballin' theme.
Really?
And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Like when he came to the apron, like to the top of the ramp, they played Ballin'. And I was like, they don't really play that anymore. Like, I thought that was interesting, but I say that to say MVP wrote the verse. I should have known that. I should have known. I didn't tell him I thought that. I might have kind of threw y'all under the bus. I was like, my homies who I podcast with.
Oh, good.
I'm about to be like, yo, I do the podcast with Mega Ray. He asked you a question. He's the only one that didn't think you wrote that shit. I was on board.
You want to hear the episode? It's on Spotify, my guy.
Oh, God. Oh, God. No. So, yeah. Then we wound up talking, of course, about Cowboy Bebop. He loves Cowboy Bebop. He's an anime guy. Like, so.
Well, I mean, I've seen Cowboy Bebop, but I wouldn't have pegged MVP as a Cowboy Bebop fan.
Yeah. He was like, yo, when I was in the joint, all I had was wrestling and anime. And it's like, in both of those things, I had to fight, like literally fight just to, get those things on the TV. Because people would be like, yo, turn on wrestling. Somebody be like, man, that old fake. Wow. And then, bow, you just got to fight.
He's 40. I did not know he was 47 years old.
47.
Good for him, man. You know what?
Still looks great. Still like doing his thing.
His second act in WWE has been so good,
so graceful.
I think it's helped Bobby tremendously.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed they broke up the Hurt Locker. I'm still
I was
so is he. We talked about that too.
I bet
he was like, I was very disappointed.
Yeah, man. He had the deck stacked against him with that whole storyline. He had a good thing going, and you're talking about you had to cut Seti and Shelton from the crew to hire like dryer sheet and clothespin. I mean, come on now.
Yo, okay, so good interesting point about that. He starts dryer sheet and clothespin. He started telling us some stories. I'll end with this. He told us like he had to beg to get this Hurt business started, and then to get Cedric in. He was like, he really wanted Cedric, and he said when they finally got the okay to put Cedric in, the first day they came in, Bobby's dressed to the nines, MVP dressed to the nines, Shelton dressed to the nines, and Cedric had on like jeans and a t-shirt, and he was like, "Hey man, where your suit at?" And Cedric's like, "Oh, it's in my locker room," and he was like, "Do you see our suits in the locker room?" And he was like, "I'll be right back." And he said, ever since that day, Cedric was clean. He's like, it just had to be one time.
You got to have that continuity, man. Like, you got to live the gimmick at some point. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and he's like, first day, he's like, his suit was a little baggy. Then after that, he started going custom. He's like, he learned, that's how it goes. So I ain't mad at that, but like, he was saying like, Vince could change his mind tomorrow. He could be like, yo, Hurt Business is back. Like, so you just really never know. He may not, but he could.
Yeah, but I mean, talk about like having to live with holding your breath. Fuck, man. Like, that's got to be very frustrating.
Well, yeah, I agree. It is. But at the end of the day, like, they get to entertain for a living. So, and they know what it is, and like he said too, he was like, man, people say all day long. He's like, every one of somebody tags me in a tweet saying how Vince McMahon's so out of touch and he doesn't know this and that. All right, but the fact is, there would be no wrestling today the way it is without Vince McMahon. So you have to listen to him. You know what I mean? Like, because he built this. You know what I mean? The televised wrestling program, like he built this.
But at the same time, like you've built this one way. It's either you grow and expand in different ways, or you built this one way and you're going to keep growing in this one direction.
Yeah, like it's definitely time for a change. But like, but when the architect is still alive and still like interested in doing it, you got to at least hear him out. You know, maybe he shouldn't be the final decision maker.
You have to agree with him in this world.
Unfortunately. I mean, you look at what AEW is doing. Like the pacing is exactly the same. Like when the backstage segments come in, exactly the same. The way they watch TV in the back, exactly the same. Like commercial.
It's hilarious how they watch TV in the back.
Right. The format has been written by Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? So everybody has to follow it. You know. Rock was for the longest saying, "Oh, something different." Like it ain't different. You know what I mean? They go to the commercial breaks at the same time. Like it ain't different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, TV is TV.
We have a format
for breaks for TV.
Yeah, for live television, you have a format you got to follow.
Speaking of being AEW, did either one of you guys catch Jericho on the Stone Cold podcast?
I didn't. I need to watch it tonight.
I caught the first half of it.
I need to watch it. I heard he references a match that I was at, which was the first wrestling show I ever seen, which was when Jericho won the title from Triple H on that fast count. Oh, and then they took it back. That was the very first wrestling match I was at. I was at my college at Penn State. Oh, wow. And man, we were going nuts. Like, Jericho won a title. And then he's like, Earl, tell him it was a fast count. And then he takes the decision bag and then they fire Earl. Oh, I hated Triple H so bad back then. Yeah. It was like, that's what they need to do with Roman. Like, he needs to be the super hated guy who never loses, just cheats his ass off for a year. You know what I mean? Until you get tired of it, and then whoever beats him,
ref. Give me a Samoan ref.
There we go. Yeah, he's like, no, I need a new ref. But yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It was really good.
It's good. Did they let him get AEW over?
Yes. Oh, they reference a lot more AEW.
Yeah, they went full regala.
Nice. I'm sure, for him to agree to do it, he had to.
Well, I mean, from what Stone Cold said, he had the idea. He obviously had to run it by Vince. And when he did, he was expecting Vince to be like, no. And Vince was like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And he was like, what?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Chris Jericho from AEW fame? You want him on the podcast?
Hey, what? But
I mean, to me, in 2021, look, man, Chris Jericho being on an AEW or a WWE podcast while he's not a member of the actual main roster or even their company, it's not super surprising. I mean, the walls have been broken down forever.
Yeah, the forbidden door and all that is just us. It's the fans. It's only us. Like, these guys are all friends. You know what I'm saying?
We're never going to see AEW versus WWE, matches. We're not going to ever see that. But I mean, seeing Jericho on the Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions, it was cool. I mean, Jericho, it was about an hour and a half, I want to say. I watched it on Monday, an hour and a half.
I'm gonna check it out tonight. So, we talk about will we ever see the crossover? Do you think in our lifetime we'll ever see Marvel versus DC?
No. I mean, there's an old graphic novel from the late 80s, early 90s that was Marvel versus DC, but at the end of the day, it's really not Marvel versus DC. They end up teaming up, if I remember right. And I know I'm not making this up. Let me just fact check. I know I had this book.
Really? Was it official? I'm really surprised.
Unless I am making this up in my head and I read it no, it was DC versus Marvel Comics. This came out. When did this come out?
It's a miniseries crossover, 1996.
Yeah.
What? They did 4 issues.
What? Yeah, it happened. I knew. I remember because I had the trade. I had the graphic novel.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know this happened.
And what happened is they end up not really being. It starts off with them kind of being verse each other, and they end up like teaming up, if I remember right, for the to beat a common enemy, whoever it was. I don't remember. I was what?
Okay, this is
96.
96. So this is interesting that it says the result of the battles were determined by readers' votes. So they had Superman versus Hulk. Superman won. Spider-Man versus Superboy. Spider-Man won. Batman versus Cap. The match ends in uncertainty. Wolverine versus Lobo. Wolverine wins. And Storm versus Wonder Woman. Storm wins. And then they did a bunch of other ones that the creative team decided.
I want to read Wolverine versus Lobo.
Right, that sounds dope. Yeah. All right, I need to find this book.
I'm looking. It's expensive. It's like $105.
Dang.
Oh, so it must
probably not on the Marvel.
Scarce.
Yeah, it must. I wonder if it's on the app.
I had it. That is right.
It might be on the. We have the app. We have the power.
That is a great app. I was reading Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe series.
Oh, that's classic.
That's just good.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Shout out to Marvel Unlimited. I've been reading What Ifs. That's been my
Shouts
thing
out
lately.
to Rand for the Marvel Unlimited. They're doing the What If live series too. That's going to be
they are. That's going to be dope.
Yeah.
Back in the days of Wizard magazine. Wow. I remember Wizard.
Wizard was the shit.
Yo.
It's funny how I went from baseball cards to comic books, back to baseball cards, and then comic books again.
Yeah.
And now I'm into both again.
I'm back in the cards, man. Like I just got a huge box at shout out to Sour Apple Comics in Glendale. This place is dope. I don't know if you ever been there. It's in this little mall. I had never been there before in my life. Look it up. Sour Apple.
I've never heard of this shop.
Sour Apple Gallery. It's super dope. This place is cool. I took a novelist over there when he was in town, and it's far out from me, but it was worth the drive. And
59th Avenue. Oh wait, that's
it's on 59th, and I forget the cross.
Is it in downtown Glendale?
No, I thought it was, but it's not. No, this is
downtown Glendale kind of kicks in like after like the 60s, I think the 60 avenues.
Downtown is like 59th to like 55th ish.
But there's a comic book store already there.
Yeah, on the corner.
There is one downtown. This is not downtown. This is off the 101 and the 101 and 59th. So yeah.
Why am I gonna go there tomorrow? Just because I want to check this spot out.
It's dope. I was on my Instagram live filming in there because it was so cool. They sell records too. Yes.
They got all the vinyl pieces.
I bought a huge box of Marvel cards, so now I need some sleeves and some pages, and I'm back in the game.
So they're on like 59th, like north of Union Hills. Oh, okay.
101 and 59.
I see it now.
Bro,
Yep.
Yo, speaking of Marvel cards, the original like Marvel Masterpiece set that came out in like 90 or 91, that shit is worth thousands of dollars. And I had all of them shits.
What? I had those too. Well, they had to be in like perfect condition.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I'm gonna go check this spot out tomorrow. Wow, this is dope. I've never heard of this.
I just got like he had packs of like the baseball, basketball cards, the Skybox, Upper Deck, Fleer, like all the stuff I used to buy in high school. I was like, oh my god, dude, you about to make me.
I know where this is at.
Go crazy.
It's by Zip.
It's this little shopping center. Yeah, Zips is there. But I had never been up there before.
I'll pull up tomorrow.
Yo, if you do, let me know. I might ride by there
for sure.
Yo, it's payday, homie. You're gonna drop some.
Hey, it is payday.
Drop a stack on some cards.
I'm trying to not buy shoes, so
I'm going. Yeah, I had to go to eBay to order like some pages for like a book because like he was just saying like card collecting is just really in now, like between Pokemon and all these other ones. So like it's hard to find this stuff.
Huge, man.
Everybody's back in it. Well, I think that's about the end of the show. Hopefully we got you into a new hobby of collecting.
Yes.
But
fun.
But yes, at some point we would love to see Marvel versus DC. What do you think? We'd love to hear your commentary. And thank you again for being a part of the MANIA podcast experience. Oh yeah, and we will end with a snack of the week.
Yeah, my snack of the week for this week, she is a local MMA fighter. She's a part of the UFC roster. She's actually going to be fighting this Saturday night in one of the UFC cards in Vegas. Her name is Tracy Cortez. The homie Chaz has shot a lot of her action shots and her photos. And I just I saw him post her and I was like, wait, I saw her on the UFC shit. And then I was like, I watched some of her fights and she's a little Mexican, a little pretty Mexican. I hate to say pretty, like that just sounds bad. She's a beautiful woman from Maryville who will beat your ass.
Hey, shout outs to Maryville.
The Veil.
The Veil, man.
That's what's up.
Cortez, snack of the week.
Okay. Put that down in the chat just so we can have it for the write-up. And or in the joint. Well, that is our time for the day, right at 1:59:45. Look at that.
Both shows done.
Both shows done in two. I see this. I have to run. I have to take control of this to rein it in, or it'll be like 7 hours. But that is it, folks. Thank you so much for being here. We talked wrestling, we talked cards, we talked everything. But yeah, appreciate it. Make sure you please join the podcast Patreon. And I'm going to put the link in the chat, which is patreon.com/ManIa podcast. You will get, is it pod or podcast? I don't know.
I can tell you right now.
All right. Well, before I hit the button.
It's MANIA podcast.
Okay, cool. Please, if you can.
Fran.
Yep.
Monica just says she wants to do another podcast with you.
Hey, yo, we need to do that. That was super
I was
fun.
doing podcasts like a long time ago.
Before podcasts were cool. We were been at this podcast game. And don't forget, Falcon and Winter Soldier at midnight. So if y'all want to hang up for that.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. So watch that. And as always, you know what to do. Keep shoulders off the map. We appreciate you. We love you. And holla. Oh, let's do a little raid, I guess. The Twitch people.
Shouts out to T-Call and G1 who couldn't be here tonight as well.
No doubt.
Feel better, yo.
Back. Yeah. Teek's a little down from the second shot. I understand because that's exactly how I'm feeling right now.
Seems to be the common thing with shot number 2 is that's the one that kind of gets you to.
Whew. Yeah, you might need to take a day off the day after.
Yeah.
I know jobs are giving you some time too.
Oh, my job email that they're giving 4 hours of paid time off to go get vaccinated. So next time I go for 2, I'm gonna take advantage.
Mine's next week, bro. Ugh.
Number 2 or number 1?
Number 2.
Nice.
Hey, we're going to raid Miss Stickums, who is playing MLB The Show 21. So we get to check it out. All right, we out.
Laters.
Peace. Holla, holla, holla.
All right, so let me hit the stop.